Now that we know how to take care of the French horn and put it together, we're ready to start with our first lesson. The first thing you need to do is get out your music stand. There's usually 3 parts to your music stand, and these are the 2 we're going to start with. First of all, we need to insert the long skinny part into here and tighten that down. Then pull each of these 3 legs until it clicks. Some mechanisms are a little different than this, but most of them will have some sort of a click. Then set that on the ground, take out the top of the stand, and unfold it so the bottom is flat. Then you simply take this piece and insert it onto the bottom. Stands are adjustable up and down. You just need to loosen this up, pull it to about eye level, and then tighten it again. Then you're ready to put your book on it. Take out your French horn and start playing. Today we're going to walk through the first 2.5 pages of the lesson book. We're using the trumpet book for the French horn simply because it starts a little bit lower and gives you some notes that you can play. If you notice in the trumpet book, some of the fingerings aren't written exactly like I'll tell you. That's because the French horn and the trumpet don't have the same fingerings. So your teacher will tell you this, but also listen to me and I'll tell you exactly which fingers to push down for the different notes. The first note in the book on number 1 is an E. E is played with no fingers down, so it's pretty easy to push the buttons down. You don't have to push any. And an E, in this case, the E is 4 counts. We know that because it's a whole note. If you look at the top of the page, that's where all the new information for the page is. And you see the whole note with a picture of it. The whole note is worth 4 counts. So we tap our foot 4 times for the whole note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next to the whole note, you see a whole rest. And that one is also 4 counts. So we count that the same way. 1, 2, 3, 4. As we play number 1, listen as I count the rests and as I play for 4 counts. Once again, this is an E, whole note, followed by a whole rest. Keep your foot tapping the whole time. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. And then we're done. Notice how I'm sitting up straight with my feet flat in front of me. My legs aren't crossed. My back is straight away from the back of the chair. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. Especially if you're sitting in a chair with armrests like this, you really have to scoot forward so that your elbows aren't leaning down and so that your instrument isn't leaning on that armrest. It's kind of tricky. The best kind of chair would be one with no armrest at all. We're going to go on to number 2. The fun continues. Now this is a D. Once again, the trumpet fingering is different than the French horn fingering. We're going to play a D with the first finger. First finger down, and again, this is whole notes and whole rests. So let's play it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 3, whole lot of counting, combines the E and the D to make a little bit of a song. It goes back and forth. The first note is an E, then it has a whole rest, then a D, then a whole rest, then an E, whole rest, D, whole rest. This time, I'm not going to count the whole rest out loud. You're going to have to do that in your head. Here we go. Number 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, Number 4 starts off with a new note. It's a C. A C is also played with no fingers. Remember, the E was played with no fingers. The C is just the same fingering, but it's a little bit lower yet. So we have to make sure our lips aren't too tight, and it sounds like this. If you're not careful, you might get the E, which remember, the E sounds like this. But our first note should be the C. Here we go with 4 score, starting on the C. 1, 2, 3. And we're finished. The next 3 exercises take the first 3 notes that we learned and combine them in different orders to make different songs. If you look at them, they all have the same rhythm. They're always a whole note followed by a whole rest. So, as we play them, we just have to think really hard about which note it should sound like and which finger to push down. The first one starts on an E, then a rest, then a D, first finger, then a C, no fingers, then a D again, first finger. Let's play it. Number 5, mix them up. 1, 2, 3. Look at number 6. And I want you to look through it real quick and name the notes before we play it. And practice your fingers on them real quick too. Should be D, C, E, D. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. The final song on page 6 is Band on Parade. Once again, it uses the first 3 notes we know. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Now that we've finished the first page, it would probably be a good time to make sure there's no water stuck in your instrument. We talked about this in the maintenance and care part of this DVD, but let's do it right now. First thing you want to do is probably get a trash can. Probably don't want to mess up your parents' new carpet. Then, the best place to check is to pull your mouthpiece off, then roll your instrument around, see if we can find any water. None there. Pull your slides. Looks like we're pretty clean. Generally want to do that 2 or 3 times during your practice session. Let's go on to page 7. Page 7 starts with some new information at the top of the page. Once again, the first thing is the breath mark. The breath mark is a place for you to take a breath. It's not a rest, so it's not worth any counts at all. We just have to sneak it in really quickly. So our foot keeps tapping, and we breathe right in between taps. Number 8 starts with an E whole note for 4 counts. Then we breathe quickly and do another one. Let's try it. 1, 2, 3. Notice that I never took a breath so long that I couldn't get in before my next tap. It has to be a very quick breath. Number 9 does the same rhythm with the same breath marks, except now you have to change fingerings in between notes. So instead of just breathing, you also have to move your finger. Let's try number 9. 1, 2, 3. Number 10 is almost exactly like number 9. The notes are different, but the rhythm and the breathing are the same. So we're going to skip that right now and let you practice that on your own. Number 11 introduces us to some new notes and rests. If you look at the top of the page again, it shows you a picture. The first is a half note. The half note is worth 2 counts, so 2 taps of your foot. The half rest is also worth 2 counts. If we look at number 11, let's clap and count this one. So let's put our instrument down. And here we go. Number 11, half the price. 1, 2, ready, count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. As I was clapping and counting, hopefully you noticed that my foot was tapping every single count. It tapped all 4 counts of every measure. My hands only clapped the notes, so if it was a half note, I clapped every 2 counts. I whispered the rests so that you would know not to play there. All right, now that we've clapped it, let's play it. Half the price. 1, 2, 3. Number 12 also uses half notes and half rests, but this time we change fingerings in between notes. It also has more of a combination of whole notes and half notes. Let's clap and count this one. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's play it. This one will be your first testing line, so it's a good idea to practice this one a little bit extra. 1, 2, 3. As you practice number 12, notice that there's a breath mark right in the middle. There's also a couple of rests, so make sure you're silent on the rests and that you breathe quickly on that breath mark. Number 13, 2 for the show, is a duet. A duet means that 2 instruments play together. Parts A and B are the same rhythm, but if you look at it, there's some notes that are a little bit different. This makes a harmony. I'm not going to play that one right now. I'm going to let you practice that one with another French horn player. Number 14 is titled Go for Excellence. You'll notice that every odd page ends with a Go for Excellence. What this does is it combines all the information from the page and puts it together in one challenging exercise. So if we look at this one, it's got half notes, half rests, whole notes, and whole rests. And it puts them together in a combination that makes it a little tricky. Look at the fifth measure in. The fifth measure starts with a half rest. The half rest is 2 counts of silence on counts 1 and 2. So make sure you don't jump in too early on that. Let's clap and count it. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's play. Number 14, Go for Excellence. 1, 2, 3. The first 2 notes of that are both played open fingerings. So we have to really use our ear to make sure that we get 2 different notes. So listen very closely as you practice that. All right, we're finished with page 7 now. So let's turn the page. And if you're hearing any sort of popping in your instrument, you might want to check for some water. So check through all those slides, make sure there's no drips in there. Going on to page 8, there's some new information again at the top of the page. The first thing is a quarter note. The quarter note is worth 1 count. The quarter rest, which looks a little bit like a zigzag, is also worth 1 count. So each tap of your foot gets a quarter tap. Look at number 15. Let's count and clap this one. Remember, 1 tap per count. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Even on the whole note, my foot kept tapping 4 taps. If you look at this one also, the quarter notes come pretty quickly. So we have to talk about how to start those notes. Up until now, we've just kind of been starting them at however you wanted to. But right now, we're going to start them by saying T. So as you say the T, like title or ticket, you need to make your tongue come up and touch the tip of your teeth. So put your hand in front of your face like this and blow one long stream of air. Now, in that stream of air, I want you to put some T's. You feel that air stays steady, but the T kind of interrupts it. So, as we play, number 15 starts on an E. Those T's should sound like this. All right, here we go. Number 15. 1, 2, 3. If you're out of breath or you feel your shoulders bouncing up and down during those quarter notes, chances are you're not quite doing the tonguing right. Make sure you just use your tongue and don't stop your air in between all those notes. Sometimes people start chewing them like this, toe, toe, toe. And we want to keep our mouth pretty still except for our tongue. Number 16 is probably the first song that you recognized, Hot Cross Buns. If you look at it, once again, we've got a combination of quarter notes, half notes, and whole notes. So we really have to count closely. Keep your foot tapping, Sit up straight and tall. Let's play it. 1, 2, 3. Did you breathe at the breath marks? I hope so. Look at number 17. Number 17 is also a combination of half notes, whole notes, and quarter notes. But this one introduces a phrase. Look at the first measure. It says C, 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 D. Find another measure in the music that has that same music written. It's measure 5. It says C, 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 D. If you look closely, you see that both of those parts repeat 4 measures. That's called a phrase. And in music, a lot of times, music will either repeat itself or do something very similar, which makes you realize that the song isn't as hard as it looks because you only need to be able to play the first half of it, and then you've got the whole thing under your fingers and in your lips. All right, Au clair de la lune also moves quarter notes, so you'll have to move your fingers along with the quarter notes. So your fingers have to be a little bit faster than they have been up till now. Let's try it. Au clair de la lune. 1, 2, 3, go. Did you make it? That's the end of most of the information you need to know for your first lesson. Now we'll go on and talk about 2 new notes that you're going to use soon. The first one is down on number 19, Easy Street. This is an F. F is fingered just like the trumpets finger it with the first finger. It's a little bit higher than the D, but it's the same fingering. So the D was this note. The F is this note. Once again, F is a little higher. So as you're practicing, really listen. Then one note higher than that is shown on number 21, the G. G is another note with no fingers, and it's even higher than the E and higher than the F. It sounds like this. Once again, the G is this. Remember, E sounded like this, and C. So you have 3 different notes you can play with no fingers. Now you're ready to start practicing all these first 3 pages, page 6, 7, and 8. Have fun.